Hi everybody, Johan Magnusson here, Big Swede BBQ, and today we are going to smoke one of my favorite cuts on the Green Mountain Grill, the Daniel Boone. It's the Brazilian Picanha. And normally when you've probably seen a Picanha, it looked like this, or maybe it looked like this, or maybe even like this. We're going to do it a little bit differently. We're going to treat it like a roast, we're going to smoke it, and we're going to give it a reverse sear at the end. Now, Picanha is probably given the worst American cut name ever. We call it a rump cap. You know, if you invite your friends over and you say, today I'm going to give you a really delicious dinner, we're going to serve you rump cap, nobody will want to eat that. It sounds disgusting. So I think we should ban that term forever. Rump cap is out. Listen to this, Picanha. Picanha sounds so much better. So what are we gonna do with the Picanha? Let's start. So there are a couple of things that we want to do to the Picanha before we smoke it. We're gonna, the smoker will be set at 225. We're gonna smoke it till it gets an inner temperature of about 125. But as you can see with the Picanha, it has a beautiful fat cap on top of it, and we want to keep that. We don't want to trim it off, but what we want to do is we want to score it so the smoke can penetrate and that the fat doesn't shrink up and shapes the beef weirdly. So we need to score it, and then we're going to season it. So let's show you how to do that now. So when we cut the Picanha after it's been cooked, we want to make sure that we slice it against the grain. So what I like to do is just look how the grain flows and then cut off a piece here. That will help me understand that I need to slice it this way. Then we flip it over, and what we want to do here is just to score the skin nicely. We don't want to go too deep, but just cutting through that fat cap a little bit. And I like to do a crisscross pattern here. I think it looks better when you cook it. So don't put a lot of weight on the knife. It will slice through very nicely. What you want to do is you want to cut through the fat, but you don't want to cut into the meat. So there we got the first, and then let's just do a nice little crisscross pattern here. Okay, we got the pattern down. You can see it's been nice crisscross pattern all across. Maybe had to go a little bit deeper just right there. So what we want to do is we want to pack the top side, the fat side, with flaky sea salt. And here you want to go with quite a lot. So just pack that in with flaky sea salt. We use Jacobsen. I think that gives it a good crunch. So pack it in with a lot of flaky sea salt on the top of the Picanha. Then you don't really have to do anything else to it, but I like to give it a little bit of a barbecue flavor too. So what I do is on the meat side, I give it a dusting of the Big Swede BBQ Badass Beef Boost, the 4th best rub in the world, 2018 American Royal. So what we're going to do now is let this rest for about 45 minutes to make the salt and the Big Swede BBQ Badass Beef Boost really penetrate into that meat. While we're doing that, we're waiting for the Daniel Boone to get up to 225, and then we're going to put it in. So let's be back in 45 minutes. So it's been 45 minutes. I can tell that the seasoning, the Badass Beef Boost, it has really penetrated into the meat. So what we want to do now is just flip it over, maybe scrape off some of that excessive on the fat cap, and then put it in the smoker. As you can see, we have it on an elevated rack, and I'm going to put it fat side up. I like to put something underneath just to keep the Daniel Boone clean. We're going to cook this or smoke this until we got an internal temperature of 125, and then we're going to take it out. So what you can see now, it's sitting at 120 degrees internal temperature. You can see that the smoke has really penetrated the meat. The fat cap is started to rendering out. So now it's time to do the next step of the process. The first thing that we have to do is take it out. The next step in our cooking process is that we want to sear the picanha. So what we're going to do is that we're going to put in these amazing grill grates. We're going to close it and we're going to crank up the temperature to about all the way to 500 degrees. There we go. While we're waiting for the Daniel Boone to get up in temperature and the grill grates to get hot, we'll just put a little bit of butter on the picanha, wrap it with some aluminum foil, and let it rest until the Daniel Boone gets up to 500 degrees. So the Green Mountain Grill is up to temperature. We've been letting the picanha rest for about 10 minutes. So it's time to put it on the grill grates. There we go. We can hear the beautiful sizzle. We're just going to leave it on for a couple of minutes just to give it a good sear, and then we'll finish off with crisping the skin. So we got a beautiful sear, as you can see. Now we can do two things. We can either flip it around and give the fat cap a sear, but I like to torch it instead because it gives me a little bit more control. So let's move it over here for the last step before it's time to serve. So the last thing that we're going to do before it's time to cut and slice the picanha is to just give it a little bit of a sear on the fat cap. Of course, like I said, you can do this on the grill grates as well, but I kind of like giving it a torch with one of these. It gives you a little bit more control, so you don't want to brown it too much. Just give it a nice little sear like this, and you can really see how the skin is starting to crisp up. Good, it smells so good, and this is what a picanha should look like, smoked through and through, and then with a nice beautiful crispy skin. So let's make that rest for another 2-3 minutes, and then it's time to cut it. So we've let the picanha rest for a couple of minutes, and now it's time to slice it and see what it looks like. And if you remember that little cut that we took here, that tells us that this is the way we need to slice the picanha. So let's just take a good nice little chunk in the middle here and check that out. That is so moist, that is so rich, perfect medium rare. And look at that fat cap. It is tremendous. Look at the moistness, the juice. That is perfect, and the flavors that you will get out of this is just fantastic. And I guess the only thing left is to test it. That is so moist, so good. The fat cap gives it just an amazing flavor. You got to try this recipe. If you like recipes like this, check out our website, bigswedebarbq.com. Or if you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks a lot, and good luck with cooking the picanha. Not the rump cap, the picanha.